This just in, we have breaking Patriot news. That's right, it's Patriot news time. We have Republican correspondent Ronan at the ready to give us his detailed analysis. He used to work for Raytheon. Okay, so when I say Patriot news, I might mean a little more like Stranger Things news. Stranger Things heads tune in, like and subscribe. There are a lot of celebrities defending Israel, but specifically Noah Schnapp and Brett Gelman, two of the cast members from Stranger Things, are almost getting torn down on the internet for being Zionists. And don't get me wrong, being a Zionist, especially in the way that they're doing it, is a perfectly legitimate reason not to like someone. Don't get me wrong. And unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation about Israel-Palestine because that's how they've been able to get away with it for so long, is lying about it. So naturally, no one is going to side with the people dancing on people's graves. Literally. Even in the wake of tragedies like October 7th, where civilians are killed, Zionists tend to be very celebratory about how they express their Zionism, which definitely contributes to the dissonance of Zionists that are constantly claiming that they also want peace. Right now, the objective of the Israeli government is peace by eradication. That's been the plan since before October 7th. So when Zionists are super flamboyant and annoying about their support for Israel doing among the worst genocides the world has ever seen, yeah, you look like an asshole, and people are gonna not fuck with you permanently for being an asshole about it. Let's take a look at exactly what this kid was doing. He was going around flaunting these stupid fucking stickers that say Zionism is sexy, which, sure, I guess you could get away with that. But the more important and more overtly racist one is Hamas is ISIS. You have to not know what ISIS is for that to make sense. Like, you genuinely can't know. Very reminiscent to Republican sloganeering politics in America, where you just like say something that doesn't really make sense, that doesn't really land, but you say it enough and now it's like a thing. Like, what do they say? Transphobes will say, men can't become women. And it's like, that's not really the issue. They just keep saying that over and over again, which isn't like true to what anyone is advocating for. It's not really an accurate assessment of people advocating for trans rights. It's just a dehumanizing slogan meant to get people on your side emotionally. Hamas is ISIS is one of the most obvious examples of something like this. And I mean, if you don't know, Hamas and ISIS as militia groups are enemies. They are not on the same side. For people who like to talk about how complex issues are in the Middle East, they sure tend to not know a lot about the things that are going on there. They just think Zionism is sexy, and that's not a very complex idea. Yeah, he had these stupid stickers with his stupid friends. He also liked all of Amy Schumer's crazy shit she was posting. I didn't cover that because I didn't think it was worth talking about Amy Schumer, but that was one of her funniest arcs. I think Amy Schumer is a fascinating character. Maybe I should do a separate video. Noah Schnapp apparently also liked this horrible fucking Zionist propaganda comedy thing.
Hi everyone, we are live on YouTube with Colombia Anti-Semitic News, where everyone is welcome. LGBTQH.
H.
Hamas.
Do you guys get it? Might as well add an I in there for ISIS too. Oh yeah, another thing to mention about this video, I'm not gonna go into it because it's like really fucking cringe, obviously. But it's also just like homophobic. Like, you forget you're not watching a Steven Crowder bit or like a fucking Daily Wire PragerU thing. What's with the colored hair and the pronouns and gay people love Hamas? Why is Israel cringe? Israel is cringe because it's a country of liberals. And liberals love to say shit like, oh, I love gay people, or I love peace. Liberals can say stuff like that, and then when push comes to shove, they're like, well, the war is necessary for these reasons. Malcolm X said that a Democrat is clever like a fox.
That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a friend.
Liberals are all gay rights, all trans rights, up until the point where they think gay people like Hamas now, which apparently doesn't take a lot of convincing. Liberals in general will keep shit on the back burner. Shit about race, shit about sexuality, about religion, only if you're Muslim. I wonder if that has anything to do with race. And when they think that you have wronged them, or they need to overcome your political positions, they'll pull that shit out on you and be like, oh, well, Muslims hate gays anyway. It's like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? from? Well, Hamas is ISIS. Gay people love Hamas. I mean, even Ethan Klein did this. This is classic liberal shit. He didn't do this for any reason other than he is a liberal. Noah Schnapp also posted a statement shortly after October 7th. As a Jewish American, I am afraid. Let's stop the rhetoric and choosing sides. Let's stop the rhetoric. Let's stop the words and the talking about it. Instead, we must recognize that we are all on the side of the fight against terrorism. Choose humanity over violence. Let's stop choosing sides and choose my side, is what he's saying. I am outraged by the justification and celebration of the death of a young girl's life. You can't say that defending Israel. Violence and the justification of violence is necessary to maintain Israel's existence as we know it as an apartheid state. But liberals cannot address systemic issues like that. I mean, look at what Noah is saying. He's talking specifically about this one picture of one girl that was killed, one white girl, and he's saying, guys, is this not enough to, wage war now? Liberals love to justify things that you can see with your eye, but then they love to cover up things that you can see with statistics. There's a difference between justifying the deaths of people who were killed on October 7th and giving context to people who don't know why those people were there in the first place. It didn't just happen out of nowhere, and that's not justification. What is justification is to claim that this beautiful picture of this beautiful woman who was killed on October 7th, why won't people just let me genocide people after that? It made me so sad. My feeling. The same people who love to jump on fashionable causes like supporting Ukraine and combating climate change. I love it. He's already pushing reactionary. Ukraine is one thing, but climate change. He mentions the 40 beheaded babies thing, not a real thing. While you chant gas the Jews, we will say a Jewish prayer for peace for all Israelis and Palestinians. It has nothing to do with being Jewish. I mean, there are so many Zionist evangelical Christians in America. So, okay, that was then. This is now. Noah Schnapp has put a video out addressing the weird shit that he said. Just my addressment, guys. It's not an apology video. I'm addressing it.
Hey guys, it's Noah. I just wanted to come on here super briefly just to discuss everything that's been...
Hey guys, I just wanted to talk about everything that's been going on. This stuff that's happening.
just to discuss everything that...
Green line. I'm Giga Chad. I'm straight line. He's curved line.
I feel like my thoughts and beliefs have been so far misconstrued from anything even close to what I believe. And I wanted to just state from my heart how I feel. I only want peace and safety and security for all innocent people affected by this conflict.
That's a very intentional choice of words from Noah Schnapp. And that's why I can't say that this is really anything other than just commentary on his previous... I mean, it's just clarification of his position. It's not an apology, it's just him saying, guys, you're wrong about this. I actually think Hamas is ISIS. He says, you guys misconstrued what I said. I want peace for all innocent people. And I mean, judging by the text post Noah Schnapp fucking wrote, we can tell who he thinks is innocent and who he thinks is not.
I've had many open discussions with friends from Palestinian background.
He stutters a couple of times in this video, and just re-record it.
Open discussions with friends from Palestinian background.
He had open discussions with friends from Palestine. Well, not from Palestine, from Palestinian background. He's such a little dick.
I think those are very important conversations to have.
You ever get called important? And I mean, while we're having these conversations, these important dialogues, Israel has bombed fucking tens of thousands of people. It's so easy when you're not on the receiving end of the genocide that's happening to be like, let's just talk it out and come to a conclusion together.
And I've learned a lot, and one of the takeaways I've had is that we all hope for the same things, that being those innocent people still being held hostage in Gaza to be returned to their families.
Redirect the issue back to the hostages, which is exclusively on Israel. You can't return hostages when you're being bombed. Israel has already killed some of these hostages. When Noah says we all want the same thing, I mean, he's not right. He's lying. Noah wants the hostages returned home and Hamas obliterated. Everyone who's normal just wants Israel to stop. That's the first step. You can't even return the hostages before that happens. Guys, these open discussions he had must have been so enlightening for him.
And equally hope for an end to the loss of innocent life in Palestine, so many of those people being women and children.
And now he's fucking virtue signaling, being like, guys, women and children are dying. The men are evil, which is a stereotype for Muslim men, especially Palestinian men. Like, I don't know how else to tell this guy that he's just being racist. So many people who unapologetically advocate for Israel just babble on about shit that just makes them look like such racist pigs.
I think anyone with any ounce of humanity would hope for an end to the hostility on both sides. I stand against any killing of any innocent people, and I hope you guys all do too.
I hope you guys stand with me on wanting innocent people to not die, which is not true. That's not what this guy wants at all.
And I hope for 2024 online to see people be a little more understanding and compassionate and recognize that we're all human.
He means understanding and compassionate to him. I just want people to not get mad at me when I say Hamas is ISIS and Zionism is sexy. Guys, my thoughts were completely misconstrued. If Noah Schnapp actually wanted more sympathy and genuine human kindness expressed to victims in this situation, he would recognize that his attitude and his statements about Israel-Palestine were extremely dehumanizing to Palestinians, that his entire stance is dehumanizing to Palestinians.
Regardless of our race, of our ethnicity, of our background, of our country of birth, of our even our sexuality, of anything, we are all human and we're all the same.
Guys, have you ever thought about how we're all the same? Where is the love? I make fun of this attitude all the time because it's really pathetic. It's extremely liberal because it requires no nuance and no understanding of other people's perspective at all. I genuinely think people like Noah lack in empathy. Truly. Noah Schnapp is just about as reactionary as the racist Republican advocating for more border security to prevent immigrants from sneaking into the country. Noah's racism dictates his opinions in the same way that the racist Republican guys does too. It's like being a single issue voter, but for Israel. Because apart from the Israel stuff, Noah Schnapp is not exactly an overtly political guy. It's just that this perspective is so normalized to him, probably because of his environment, that he has no reason to question it until people start calling him fucking stupid for being cool with genocide. Not just being cool with it, being like way too into it. I want to make it very clear that you cannot be a Zionist and anti-war at the same time. If you are a Zionist, you are perpetually pro-war. And liberals like to pretend that they're anti-war because saying that you're pro-war doesn't sound very good, but they're clever and they'll advocate for war because I just want there to be an end to the hostility and they can't end until the bad guys are dead. That is genuinely the extent of someone like Noah's foreign policy thought.
And we should all love each other for that and support each other and stand together. And stand together for humanity and for peace.
The face that he does, the like serious like stand together. He's Greta Thunberg for people who don't know the difference between Hamas and ISIS. This is so clearly just something that he was told to do. He wasn't told to apologize, he was told to, hey, fix this, address this, get people out of your mentions. Because Noah Schnapp is a young actor and he's kind of only done Stranger Things. So being ostracized in the entertainment industry could spell death for his career. And honestly, it probably will. So I'm sorry to do this to you all, but we have to talk about Brett Gelman too. Brett Gelman is another cast member on Stranger Things. He's also a comedian, I think. He's like desperately not funny. Sorry to do this.
Hey, fake woke Americans.
Okay, he already got like spit in his beard. He's claiming that being anti-Zionist is fake woke. Being actually woke is being super into an apartheid state, a segregated apartheid state, a genocidal segregated apartheid state that's just like literally a proxy of the United States to like fuck up the Middle East. It's actually fake woke to not like that. I need you guys to remember this as, you know, young, darling little leftists, and don't worry, we'll get back to Brett Gelman's little song in a second. But I need you guys to remember that as radical politics becomes more popular, you have to beware the perils of liberals co-opting the language, the imagery, anything. I mean, in 2015, Black Lives Matter was considered very radical. 5-6 years later, you have Nancy Pelosi kneeling in a kente cloth. Liberals will take the aesthetics of radical politics and then do none of the policy. Will continue and enable police brutality while doing this shit. So when Brett Gelman says that you aren't being woke by being anti-Zionist, this is a virtue signal to guilt you into thinking that you're on the right side of history by being pro-Israel. It's a weaponization of radical politics for his specific agenda, which contributes to genocide. It's really fucked up, and it's something to call out when you see it.
Hey, fake woke Americans.
Dude, he's so sweaty.
Guess who actually lives on stolen land? You do. Guess who actually lives on stolen land? You do. You do. You do. Me Jew, you do. Me Jew, you do. You live on stolen land.
I think about this video more times than I'd like to admit. Just something about it just like bounces around in my head, and I'm just thinking like, what compels a man to do such a thing? I don't know what he means by actually lives on stolen land, considering Israel is also stolen land, much in the same fashion that America is. Making the comparison to America being stolen land is not in Zionists' favor at all. To you who have been pushing this false anti-Semitic narrative for years, Jewish and Palestinian blood and trauma are in your hands. All of a sudden, Brett Gelman cares about Palestinian blood and trauma. Yeah, I believe that. You said Israel isn't stolen land, bro. I'm sorry, it's not funny. It's actually really fucked up. This guy is so fucking stupid. So because I think Netflix talked to both Noah Schnapp and Brett Gelman to chill, or at least make statements on what they've said, Brett Gelman had this to say. Zionism only means that you believe Israel has the right to exist. It does not mean that you are for the deaths of innocent Palestinians. It actually has nothing to do with the war. The war caused by Zionists. That's like saying Manifest Destiny isn't about displacing Native Americans. It only means you believe Israel has the right to exist. Why is that a statement? Who are the people saying that Israel doesn't have a right to exist? Who might those be? The people whose like grandparents you had to evict and kill to make Israel? Brett Gelman also had a nice little statement on Noah Schnapp's video.
Noah Schnapp just released an apology saying his words, his pro-Israel stance was taken out of context and misconstrued by a lot of people. And he said, you know, no, I care for victims on both sides. I know you've got a stake in it. What do you think about him coming out with this sort of apology and walking back things he said?
I haven't read the apology, so I don't know if he's walking back or not. I'm not aware of what apology he's made.
Yeah, because he didn't make one. He didn't actually make an apology at all.
I saw nothing wrong with the original thing that he said. I will say that. I think
Crazy.
You know, he held up a sticker saying Zionism is sexy, and he said,
well, that wasn't the only sticker.
Hamas is ISIS. Hamas is a terrorist organization. And
I did not expect him to even bring up the Hamas. That's so funny to defend that. Hamas is ISIS. They're both terror organizations. That's why we're calling them together. Hamas is Osama bin Laden.
Zionism is the belief that Israel should exist.
Right.
And that's sexy to me too.
Zionism isn't just that Israel should exist. It's not about having Israel and having everyone who lived there before it was Israel also hang out and have voting rights and equal citizenship. No, it's an apartheid state, and that's bad.
I think that if you're not for Israel, you are either consciously or subconsciously engaging in anti-Semitism.
Wrong. It's anti-Semitic to imply that every Jewish person has solidarity with the state of Israel. Like, this is a puppet state that only does bad stuff.
I'm not talking about being for every detail of its government, you know. Absolutely, there's, you know, some problems there. I'm not for...
Yeah, I mean, there's some problems.
I do think to a degree Hamas is still firing rockets upon it. Do I know the ins and outs of that military operation? No, I don't. I'm not in the military.
Then why did you even say the first part then? Yeah, I mean, Hamas is probably shooting rockets, but I don't know. Don't ask me about it, but they probably are. Shut up. Shut up. Even if they are, Hamas makes their own rockets. You know where Israel gets their rockets? America. The best at making them in the world. It's like not even a fair fight on top of everything else.
So I hope that there is nothing that is being done that is not necessary.
It's war, Brett. You must think that some part of war is necessary then.
I'm not for the death of innocent Palestinians at all. And my heart goes out to them and their families as well, but...
I mean, Gaza is occupied right now. My heart goes out to them and their families. No, it doesn't. It's definitely a me thing, and it's been really bothering me lately. But God damn it, I'm tired of people not saying what they mean. It's so annoying, especially when it comes to liberals. I mean, they just don't say what they mean, ever. Liberals have the audacity to appeal to being like anti-war or anti-death. You are pro-death. Everything you're saying, you are part of the pro-death and dying movement. I'm a death and Zionist, and I don't believe in war. Do you hear yourself? Anyway, sorry, I get you real heated about this stuff. Anyway, I kind of got off track, but I just wanted to point out, not only is Noah Schnapp's video not an apology, it's also just kind of racist and further solidifies the racism that he was doing before it even came out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave some resources where you can donate to some Palestinian causes in the description. Please check them out. I'll be donating myself as well. Check BDS and boycott lists if you haven't already, because this is a really important issue. It's probably going to be one of the most defining issues of our generation. And young people have a lot of attention on them, on how they react. So I think it's really important, especially considering the human toll of the situation. So consider donating if you can. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. Ronan knows when I end videos, so when I say the last word of the video, he gets really excited. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.